Yeah, no, I wore mine yesterday and got all sweaty and stuff. So what brought you here? Really? Yeah. I watched it on yeah, I remember where I was. Was it? Awesome. Hold on just a second. Hi. I wasn't sure if everyone knew Charles was coming. It was a big surprise. Oh, okay. No wonder people are coming in such an early time. That makes more sense. I was like, I highly doubt people are going to show up. I obviously know what I'm talking about. So, maybe what do you...
今日のお話もちょっといい感じで、はい、結構ダレンっていう人にまたやるんですけど、カバーしたり、分かりやすいこと、事業内容ちょっとその聞いてる声だと、その先に何があるっていうのが結構多いんですよね、最近だと。特にまあリブラーニングっていうのはかなりみんな注目してたことがあって、うまい形で発信できたらいいなと思ってました。はい。全くライバルの会社とプロフェッショナルです。うちはなんか発足もタイミングが一緒で、たまたまうちは日本に登記する予定はなかったんですけど、一応将来だけは取っちゃったんです。ちょっとまあパチパチまでは言ってないですけど、つながりはちょっとあまりないので、やらないといけないんですけど。はい。
I'm visitor now, so I gotta make sure everything's working.
Mic check, mic check.
It's a form. Yeah, you're speaking here, and then white Darren, what's your security standpoint for people?
Why do people even go there? You know, like those things are always so I'm very responsible. I make all these guys do it all. Yes, but other than work,
I've been around.
that's your opinion. Quite old.
I think it's a hard place to live. It's boring.
in the hopes that you might become something better. Obviously less than you, but there's some kind of weird thing like that. No. It's like, let's do anything we can to save your life. Stay.
Mic check, mic check. Mic check.
From like basketball players, across players. Really, it's like athletes who
Right. So when this happens, you have to take this out. It's on. So if that ever happens, yeah, just
Meet Cardano, a third-generation blockchain platform built with a scientific, research-first driven philosophy, world-class engineering standards, and an eye to the future. The Cardano project is supported by 3 organizations. The Cardano Foundation focuses on community, ecosystem, regulation, standards, and is an objective enterprise body. Input-Output Hong Kong designs, builds, and maintains the core protocol. Finally, Emurgo facilitates commercial growth and usage of the Cardano blockchain. How does Emurgo grow the Cardano ecosystem? Emurgo connects companies seeking blockchain solutions with teams that build solutions on the Cardano blockchain and helps those teams grow through capital, connections, and resources. Teams building dApps and smart contracts on Cardano can seek investment, connect with other teams, talent, and mentors, plug into an accelerator, incubator, or co-work, and find their first sales and clients. Companies can leverage Emurgo's network to find teams to build dApps or enterprise solutions for their organization. To find out more, visit emurgo.io.
Mic check, mic check. Welcome to the Emurgo live stream. Welcome. Today is March 2nd. Mic check, mic check. Today is March 2nd. March 2nd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, this is
Maybe that's why I don't go to it. Is your website a news website?
Yes, it's news. My office is reservation for Japanese government.
Maybe promoting an ICO, but maybe the ICO is bad, and then you can get in trouble, or somehow selling, offering a bad I would need to write your name. I have an English one. You can get some hiragana. Yeah, it's been
Right by the beach because they're like, oh, I'm just going to leave by the beach. Gray skies over there. Yeah, that's what it is. So you have no choice. I would honestly buy it.
Hi. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for coming to Emurgo's Meetup. My name is Shinsuke. I'm doing business development at Emurgo. So who's Emurgo? So Emurgo connects companies seeking blockchain solutions, and with the teams build solutions on the Cardano blockchain and help those teams through capital, resources, and connections. So all of Emurgo staff is wearing Emurgo t-shirts, so please feel free to talk to them if you have questions. And also thank you everyone for watching live stream. Emurgo staff is watching the comments, so if you have questions, please leave your comments. And today we have two exciting speakers, and one of the speakers is Darren Camas. He's a senior advisor of Emurgo. He himself is fintech entrepreneur and consultant for 7 years. And also Charles Hoskinson. He's the CEO of IOHK Input Africa Hong Kong, a company building Cardano protocol. So let's bring first speakers, Darren Camas.
All right. Good evening, guys. Thank you all for coming. I love this clicker. It's like the ring of power. So thank you for coming. This meetup has been hosted by Emurgo. What is Emurgo? Well, that's what we're going to get to. Emurgo is the venture builder in the Cardano ecosystem. I want to tell you a little bit about what we do, what have we been doing, and also what are some of the keys to success when you contact us. So first of all, Emurgo is the venture builder in Cardano, but what does that mean? So we prepared a little video to tell you a little bit more about Cardano, what the three organizations do, and then what Emurgo does.
Meet Cardano, a third-generation blockchain platform built with a scientific, research-first driven philosophy, world-class engineering standards, and an eye to the future. The Cardano project is supported by three.
The Cardano Foundation focuses on community, ecosystem, regulation, standards, and is an objective enterprise body. Input-Output Hong Kong designs, builds, and maintains the core protocol. Finally, Emurgo facilitates commercial growth and usage of the Cardano blockchain. How does Emurgo grow the Cardano ecosystem? Emurgo connects companies seeking blockchain solutions with teams that build solutions on the Cardano blockchain and helps those teams grow through capital, connections, and resources. Teams building dApps and smart contracts on Cardano
can seek investment, connect with other teams, talent, and mentors, plug into an accelerator, incubator, or co-work, and find their first sales and clients. Companies can leverage Emurgo's network to find teams to build dApps or enterprise solutions for their organization. To find out more, visit emurgo.io.
All right, great. I hope that was a little clearer. So if you guys don't know, there's 3 organizations that build the Cardano ecosystem: Cardano Foundation, Input Output Hong Kong, and of course we're Emurgo. So Emurgo really does 3 things. We connect, we invest, and we consult. So we'll cover a little more about those. So we have Emurgo Ventures. What is Emurgo Ventures? Emurgo Ventures is the core of what Emurgo does. Emurgo Ventures are independent solution builders. So we focus on building out startup ecosystem. Why? Because the individual solution builders, the guys that build the dApps, the smart contracts, are the core of the protocol. The protocol would actually be worthless if you actually don't build an ecosystem and you have usage on top of that. So we're building out a network of people that help these individual solution builders grow. So we have a network of accelerators and incubators, and if you're interested in joining those, please email us at partner@emurgo.io. What do these programs do? Well, they take people with ideas and they put them through a rigorous process of validating those ideas, of helping them connect, of helping them build teams. Sometimes they come with funding. Actually, we're building out our own accelerator program in Hong Kong, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. We also have some networks with co-working spaces. We're getting up an academy, and we're also connecting with other people that are involved in developer training. And we're also building out some developer resources. Why? Because individual solution builders, you need to know more about smart contracts and dApps. We're going to get more education about, for example, if you're building on Ethereum and you want to port to Cardano, what that looks like. Also more education about learning things like Solidity and Plutus. A lot of you guys are interested in Emurgo Capital. So, of course, Emurgo Capital provides resources, and by resources, principally we need, we're talking about actual capital, we're talking about money, on investment. So, we don't just provide investment, we also provide advice. We have a growing network of experts who can give you advice as you're growing your team, as you're growing your solution. We're also building a network of co-investors. So for example, when Emurgo puts down capital, we also have some friends that also probably want to help you. And we can also help you in a way of introductions. So introductions, who do you need to know? Do you need to know a program? Do you need to know a solution builder? Are you trying to find an enterprise? Are you trying to find people? Are you trying to find yourselves? We can help connect you with these people. And finally, we have enterprise solutions. Enterprise solutions are typically tailored for large-scale institutions. These large-scale institutions are trying to figure out how blockchain can impact their bottom line, how it can make them more efficient, how it can make them, how it can help revolutionize their industry. So a lot of people need private or permission chains. So this includes either building them or figuring out how to use them. We offer advisory services, trying to figure out if actually a blockchain solution is right for you, if it's feasible for what you're trying to do. And then at the end, if you get through this process and decide that it is, we can help you with the software solutions. Okay, so where are we now? Well, physically, we're in Shibuya, we're in Tokyo, Japan. So if you guys who are listening, on the live cast, if you guys want to stop by, if you're ever in Shibuya, please contact us. Drop us a line at info@emurgo.io. We'd love to meet you. Well, we're not just here in Tokyo. We have an office in Hong Kong. I'll tell you more about the program later. We're also opening up an office in London. It's a little off, so we're not like right in the middle of the ocean. And that's actually not supposed to be California. That's supposed to be New York. We're going to get some developers meetings up in New York. So sorry, the map's a little off with the formatting. So let me tell you about some other partnerships. It's quite funny. So we have partnerships right now in Israel, in Shanghai, and in Taipei. So let me tell you a little bit about our partnerships. Okay, so acceleration and program in Hong Kong. If you guys listened to the last meetup, you probably met Ryan King. Ryan King is our accelerator director. He's getting up in the program in Hong Kong. So what does this program get you? Well, first of all, it gives you a capital investment because, of course, you probably want to hire some people to help you build your solution. Similar to other programs, it gives you access to our expert network. It gives you development resources. We can help you find talent. Business model guidance. But probably the biggest differentiator is ICO guidance. So if you guys know about the space, you probably heard that a couple days ago, the SEC sent out a notice to a large number of ICO companies. Why? Because fundraising is a highly regulated activity. And if you think that you're reinventing the wheel, chances are you probably aren't, and you need to get some good guidance so that you stay out of problems. So we can help you through this, through both our guidance as well as our network. So our experts, they can help you through structuring, what jurisdiction, what your token model looks like, regulatory, and even marketing, what you can and can't say. So please pay attention. We're looking for a pilot program to come out in May of this year. So stay tuned to our social channels and our website. We're looking to probably support about 8 to 10 teams in our first year. And if you guys are interested, please write us at invest@emurgo.io. So partnerships, if you guys have paid attention to our social media, you might have noticed that we signed a partnership recently with Siren Labs. Siren Labs is an Israel-based startup. They launched the world's first blockchain smartphone. And so what does this mean to you guys here? What does it mean to Cardano? What does it mean to ADA holders? Well, it means that Cardano technology is going to be supported in the Fini smartphone. So what that means is that you will have interoperability with your ADA tokens with the Cardano technology that launches on all these smartphones. Also, these smartphones will come with native cold storage, so you can click off a switch, and now you have secure storage. And so this is really great, and these are kind of the partnerships that we're looking for. Ecosystem plays, technology plays that help the ecosystem, that help Cardano, help ADA holders. We also signed a partnership with China Accelerator and MOX. So these are two accelerators in East and Southeast Asia. China Accelerator is located in Shanghai. MOX is located in Taipei. So China Accelerator is the #1 accelerator in China. If you're a foreigner trying to get into China, or if you're a Chinese company that's looking to get outside and do sales. And MOX is a very interesting program. They have a partnership with an operating system developer that ships on over 160 million smartphones in Southeast Asia and Latin America. So for example, if you guys get into the MOX program, there's a chance that your app is installed natively on 160 million smartphones in Southeast Asia and Latin America. That's great for you as a company because it offers you immediate distribution. That's great for the Cardano network because now you have people that are using it in 2 giant regions on potentially 160 million smartphones. So this is a very interesting partnership. And an investment case. So our first investment case is Liquiz. Liquiz is building Traxia, which is a software protocol. And these guys are, for example, an example of what we're looking for in fintech. It's attacking a huge market opportunity, which is $43 trillion locked in operating capital that's in unpaid invoices. And so this is an example of what you can do with blockchain technology. They actually just opened their pre-ICO, and they've closed their first million. Over half of that was raised in ADA. And what this team is going to do is they're going to raise on Ethereum, they're going to build in Solidity, and once the computation layer is out, they're going to port natively to Cardano. So if you guys have a solution that you're building right now, this is possible. Charles will tell you more about interoperability with the KEVM and how you can use anything that Cardano will be backwards compatible with anything that's built on Ethereum currently. So, what do we look for in investments? Well, we're not reinventing the investments. So our venture capital model is very similar to other venture capital model. We want you to have a clear use case and a big market. It's not rocket science. So when you're coming to us, make sure that you have these things. Either you have a clear use case in a huge market, or you have a technological revolution. Well, some huge technological breakthrough are few and far between. So it's more likely that you're going to need to have a big market and big opportunity. We're looking for teams with track records, and ideally, if you have a track record of working together, this is very key. If you don't, it's not impossible, but this is just what we prefer. Also, prototype and traction. I'll talk a little bit about it later, but traction is key. So we're not just investing in white papers that are published anonymously online. We want to know that you have built something, that you can build something, and that you've tested it, and that at least you know that a few people want to use it. And also, it should have a clear usage for blockchain. It should have some reason for security. It should have some security, privacy, and provability. So, for example, a lot of people are interested in remaking frequent flyer miles. It's really nice, but there has to be some larger use case there. Someplace that blockchain technology actually solves a bigger problem than just frequent flyer miles. Okay, so here are some interesting open challenges for entrepreneurs. For example, in the space of raising funds, if you raise funds, it doesn't mean you necessarily have a market fit. Anyone will tell you this if they've gone through traditional venture capital, if they've built these ventures, if you started from scratch. Why? Because in a traditional model, you get a small amount of money. You have to prove it, and then you get another one. The ICO model has actually shifted this and put it on its head. Right now, people can get a very large amount of money without proving anything. So this is a very interesting thing, but it can also be a potentially bad thing. Why? Because you may not have any use case. So make sure that you validate. And so through some of the connections that we provide, some of the advisory that we provide, you can validate your ideas. Make sure that you do this before you contact us. Another part is you have this spectrum. On one side, you have security, and on the other side, you have usability. The problem is, the more usable you make something, the less secure it is, and vice versa. And this actually plays into the next problem. We're about 9 years into blockchain technology, and you know what? Not many people use it. So I don't know, I won't do a show of hands because we have live, but usually you have a lot of people that have heard about blockchain technology. Some people have invested in a token. Very few people have actually downloaded a wallet, and actually even fewer people use dApps or smart contracts. So you have this problem of usability, actually, and so if you guys are solving this usability and security paradigm, we're very interested in contacting you because this is a huge key for the industry in general. So big market opportunities are sometimes intellectually boring. So a couple of years ago, if you were building a social network, everyone wanted to build a social network, and then it was big data, and then it was IoT, and you know what? Today, it's blockchain. However, just because you use this hashtag, you're not going to raise funds, and these opportunities are sometimes boring. If you're solving something, for example, like invoice financing and operating capital, it may have a bigger impact than the next social network or the next CryptoKitties. And finally, if the opportunity is exciting and innovative, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an opportunity. Okay, so what are some of the key industries that we're looking to invest in? Well, we have finance, legal, and logistics. You can see that on our website. We also have healthcare and medical, technology, media, and telecom, and also governance. But why do we select these? Well, because it has the basic premises that you need for blockchain. You need to have a strong use case for security, for privacy, and for provability of something. So, for example, in logistics, you have usually large shipments that are going cross borders. They touch multiple jurisdictions. They're very sensitive in time, and you need to make sure that there's payments, there's checks and balances all along the way. So when you have these key features, that's when blockchain is actually useful. Okay, keys to success when contacting Emurgo. This one is big because we get inquiries all the time that says, I have this amazing idea. All you need to do is figure out the idea for me, find me a team, and give me money. And this is really nice. I wish the world was like that. But make sure that you have some of these ideas fleshed out a little bit, at least a little bit before coming. And make sure that you have a clear ask. What are you looking for? Are you looking for funding? Are you looking for team? Are you looking for guidance? Are you looking for technology? Maybe you're looking for multiple, but if you're looking for all of those, maybe you need to do some more work at home before you come to us. That's also including validation. So the next one is have some team and know what you need. So if you have some team, if it's just you, it's going to be really, really hard to build a groundbreaking product. So make sure that you're recruiting some good talent. That's really the key. And then get opinions and craft some ideas before you come to us. Make sure that you validate. These are tips for any entrepreneur, not just a blockchain entrepreneur. And finally, do your homework beforehand. Maybe you've seen a presentation, maybe you looked through our partners, maybe you looked through our portfolio and said, well, you invested in this, you partnered with this, so I thought this was a good intro. So these are all keys to success when you're contacting Emurgo. Okay, finally, what will you see from Emurgo in the coming months? Well, we have a lot of new exciting things ahead. One of the things we'll get out a lot more developer resources, and so this is something that we're working hard on. IOHK is busy taking care of the protocol layer, making sure that it's the most robust, secure blockchain technology out there. We'll be focusing on dApps and smart contracts. So if you're a dApps or smart contracts developer or you want to get into it, we'll be launching some material shortly. We also have some new investor alliances, some partnerships that are exciting and coming up. I'll be leaving tomorrow at 7 a.m. To fly off to some of those. And we'll have an updated website, so it'll be much clearer what we do, what we're looking for. It'll have the nice video and everything. So that's your basic overview of Emurgo, what we do, where we've come, and where we're going. So if you have questions, please contact us, info@emurgo.io. If you have investor questions, contact us at invest@emurgo.io. You have the Cardano sites here. Follow us on social. We're really looking forward to hearing from you. And now I'll pass the mic off to the guy that you're probably all waiting to hear, Mr. Charles Hoskinson. Thank you very much.
Does anyone have a question for Darren?
Sorry. Q&A.
Control 2.
Any questions? Actually, there's one question from live stream. Are there any plans for similar meetup in Europe?
Yes. So we have actually a team that's getting established in London right now, and of course we are mobile. We're free to travel. We also have the live stream simulcast. So I mean, really, Emurgo, you saw the stars on the map. We're starting to go global. And so yes, we'll probably have some more meetups in different parts in Europe, and we're really looking to leverage our own network and our partners' network to simulcast these to provide more content, more resources.
Any questions? Okay. If there's any questions, we're going to have a 5 minutes break. So.
Just kidding. You guys will have to wait to hear Charles.
We actually have a 5 minutes break. Then we will Charles.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
I have an interesting contact. Emurgo project is really interesting. I came to the Emurgo Meetup 1 month ago. I like the approach of this project. I had lots of questions for Charles. I'm doing PhD systems engineering, so I've done lots of programming before, but now I'm more trying to describe requirements and architecture. systems engineering. Yes, in Tokyo. So we use business analysis for like a systems engineering company?
Yes. Well, it's
It used to be shipped to the description of what the systems do, functionality, to simulations of alternative designs. And then recently I've been applying to gearbox. In car, when you can go like drive, this, but I think information systems is progressing because information system, you can create anything you like. Arbitrary is just limited brain. So we have to be careful about describing what we want to do.
So why do you like because the longest they use is the one they use
It's very different way of thinking. Because I've done Java, but also Delta, which is like Haskell, program these things where you describe what you want rather than have to do it.
what do you want to like
So my background is like development. For example, you use techniques. I can just write things and figure out how to compute a baseline. You say A equals velocity and velocity equals displacement. And I can just say these statements and it will find some kind of algorithm to solve where if you write it in Python, you have to, or Java, you have to actually write like velocity equals this and follow the procedure. So
Very simple. Complex.
The trade with that, things need to be very simple. Yeah, and if you have a complicated system, there are many different things it can do. And we cannot test for different combinations. So, but if you have an equation which everyone knows that that's what it is, but if you have many different things, many different possible states to it. Precise.
I'm super glad.
Okay, it's about time if everyone could take their seats again. We'd appreciate that. そろそろ開始するんで、席についていただければと思います。Alright, so I guess we're going to have you on. Here's Charles Hoskinson from IMHK.
So I'll give today, huh?
Hi, everybody.
皆さん、こんばんは。
I apologize for being a little bit late. I've been in meetings since about 7 a.m.
朝7時ぐらいからずっとミーティング続きで遅れてきてすみませんでした。
Everybody find the place all right?
Yep.
Okay, so Purple, what do you want me to talk about today? We're talking about Shelley? There we go. Shelley's a boy, not a girl. It's got an E in it. It's got 2 E's in it, actually.
シェリーについて今からお話しするんですけれども、シェリーは実は男の子の名前なんですね。
After the poet, Shelley.
詩人の名前から取っています。
So the Cardano project launched a long time ago, launched in 2015, and basically, I don't know, shit. By the way, this is the raw uncut Charles you guys get. Okay, so the Cardano project began in 2015. It really, it's a 5-year project from IMHK's perspective. By the way, we're also at Tokyo University of Science today, so they gave me a free T-shirt.
2015年からカルダノに携わっていた IOHK としては2020年までのプロジェクトとなっているんですけれども、今日この着ている T シャツはですね、ちょうど今日訪れていた大学でいただいたものです。
And we're going to break Alex. He's been translating since 7 a.m. for us too.
でもアレックスが通訳をですね、朝からずっとやってるんで、そろそろ壊れる時間かもしれない。
So anyway, so Cardano began in 2015, and Cardano really is a project that focuses on 3 pillars.
カルダノは3つの主な取り組みを抱えています。
So the first pillar is scalability. Second pillar is interoperability.
1つ目はスケーラビリティ、2つ目は互換性ですね。
And the last pillar is sustainability.
そしてサステナビリティ、継続可能性。
So back in 2015, we asked what would a third generation cryptocurrency look like? What core collections of technologies and architectures and papers and protocols and things do we actually have to develop to achieve these 3 things?
2015年当初ですね、どういった技術、どういった論文、どういったアイディアや、プロトコルを集めてくればこの問題の解決ができるのかと考えました。
So with respect to scalability, kind of the holy grail here is that your system gains resources as you gain people.
でこの上で、鉄則と考えられる、アプローチなんですけれども、人数が増えることによって、リソースも増える、そういったモデルを考える必要がありました。
So if you think of protocols like BitTorrent, this actually is a very scalable protocol.
例えばビットトレントという、プロトコルがあったんですけれども、これは非常に、スケーラブルなプロトコルです。
So, for example, if you're downloading Game of Thrones, you get it really quickly because lots of people download this movie.
かなり人気のある、番組をダウンロードしようとしたら、非常にこれが、速い速度で行われます。
For some reason, Pee-wee's Playhouse is really hard to get, so it takes a long time.
認知度の低い、人気のないものをダウンロードしようとするとゆっくりになります。
It's not a popular show anymore. So it'd be so cool that with respect to cryptocurrency, as I get more users in my currency, somehow it just gets faster.
暗号通貨でもユーザーが増えればそれによって速度が上がるようにできれば理想的ですね。
Okay, so there are really three dimensions to that. There's the dimension that people like IOTA and EOS mention all the time, which is transaction rate, so raw TPS.
でそれにも3つの要素があって、1つはIOTA などがよく謳っている、秒間トランザクション回数などの側面ですね。
The second dimension is something I call network capacity. So it's just basically the ability to move data around the network.
で2つ目がネットワーク容量のようなもので、ネットワーク間のデータの行き来を指します。
And the last one is total storage capacity. That's your ability to store a blockchain.
そして3つ目が、ブロックチェーン自体の、保存容量ですね。
Yeah, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others, they operate on a replicated blockchain model. So the more stuff you do, the bigger the blockchain gets. The heavier it is, and the harder it is to store it.
ビットコインやイーサリウムは、複製する、ブロックチェーンのモデルを、使っているためにブロックチェーンが長くなればなるほど、容量が大きく重たくなります。
So these things are all balanced with each other. You can't just increase TPS rate. You can't go to 100,000 transactions or 500,000 transactions per second. They're interconnected with your network ability and your storage ability, or else you create a bottleneck.
すべてこれはつながっているものなので、一つだけ劇的に改善するけど他のものは変わらないというほど簡単なものではありません。
So the first thing we want to do with the Cardano protocol with respect to the scalability agenda is try to connect these three things in a really intelligent way, create a collection of protocols that over time would get faster as people enter the network.
今、申し上げたようなこの課題を解決する、いろんな人たち、ユーザーが増えれば増えるほど、キャパシティが上がる、容量が増えるような、解決策が必要です。
So the class of protocols are the Ouroboros line of protocols plus our sidechains research.
ウロボロスの、研究とこれに、サイドチェーンの研究を組み合わせたものが、それに該当すると。
So we started the Ouroboros research in 2016. It's ongoing. We've published now almost 3 papers, 2 of which have been accepted for peer review. The base protocol was accepted at Crypto, and recently Ouroboros Praus was accepted at Eurocrypt.
2016年からウロボロスの研究開発を進めていて、今の段階ですでにユーロクリプトと、クリプト17、
クリプト17、
クリプト17で、で、学会で発表されるに至っている論文を2枚、書くことができています。
Which means I get to go to Israel next month, so I'll have fun in April if anybody wants to see me. I think it's Tel Aviv.
4月にテルアビブで発表がされます。
Okay, so the sidechain side of the research agenda we started in 2016 as well with interactive proof of work.
2016年にさらにサイドチェーンの論文の研究も始めたんですね。
Okay, and then we followed on with several more publications and now some proof of stake specific sidechains.
さらに、それ以外にもそのプルーフオブステークに特化したサイドチェーンの研究も始まっています。
Okay, so this is still all ongoing research. Lots of cool things are happening, but the first version of Ouroboros actually shipped with Byron, which was the first release of Cardano. So it's actually in market.
非常に今興味深い研究が続いているんですけれども、これは全てまた研究段階で、またいろんな、機能などを、開発中でございます。で、ウロボロスに関しては第1号が、去年ですね、スタートしました。バイロンとしてスタートしました。
And the research agenda of Ouroboros, I could have done that more gracefully. You're supposed to translate my jokes there, Alex. Come on now, 7 a.m. Okay, so the research agenda of Ouroboros was really theory, practicality, and performance.
このウロボロスの研究で重要視されたのが、理論と、それの実用性と、
theory, practicality, and performance.
と、パフォーマンスですね。
Hey, there you go. All right, so the theory side, we published GKL 15. That was a Eurocrypt paper. The original Ouroboros paper, which was provable security.
理論の側面では GKL15 という論文を発表しましたし、それ以外にも、ウロボロスの、第1号の論文ですね、証明できる安全性の論文を発表しました。
And so what this research agenda proved out is that proof of stake actually works. It's actually real.
でこちらですね、プルーフオブステーク自体が実用可能であるということと、ビットコインなどで、見られる、安全性を、同じように再現することができるという証明でした。
And it ran from 2016 to about 2017.
で、2016年から2017年頃まで続きました。
Okay. And now we've entered the, hey, quiet back there, you two. Quiet. We're talking here. And the practicality side of things is Ouroboros Praus.
で、実用性の部分でいうと、ウロボロスプラウスという論文が、出されました。
And this has been accepted to Eurocrypt 18, so that's going to be Israel.
こちらが、ユーロクリプト18で、発表が決定しています。
And we have a new paper we haven't announced yet, but it's so cool. It's GUC Praus.
さらに未発表の、論文なんですけど、これ非常にクールな論文で、GUC、
Praus
PE という論文です。
Yes. Hold on, for BG, bootstrap from Genesis. There we go. Okay, so basically what this is all about is saying, okay, we've proved it secure with some unrealistic assumptions. Now let's make it realistic for a blockchain setting.
どういうことかというと、理論の側面では、一旦その現実世界は置いておいて、学術的な観点から、いろんなことを定義するということを始めます。その次にじゃあそれをブロックチェーンに実装するにはどういうことが必要なのかというのが、この、practicality、実用性の部分ですね。
Yeah, so what that was all about is basically saying like, okay, this is a synchronized model, but guess what? Not everybody always shows up on time in a distributed system, so you need to be semi-synchronous. And things like dynamic availability and adaptive corruption. So a lot of little things that proof of work has that proof of stake does not have that we have to stick in and make sure it's secure.
例えばですね、その理論の段階ではプルーフオブステーク、これはシンクロできたモデルで実証したんですけれども、現実的には必ずしもネットワーク全体がシンクロしているとも限らないですし、もしかしたら悪意のあるアクターが受けのことをするかもしれない。こういったこともすべて考慮した実用バージョンがこちらのプラクティカリに含めている。
Yeah, so this last paper, the one we're just about to push out, is actually the apex of this work stream. It's kind of the capstone of it, where we actually proved Ouroboros Praus using global universal composability, and we also showed that you can bootstrap from the Genesis block. And I'll take you guys through that, what that means.
でこちらのプラクティカリ、この実用性の部分で、最後の説明になると思うんですけれども、このウロボロスプラウスを使って、かなり複雑なテスティングの上でも成り立つということを証明しました。今からそれを説明します。
So UC is a cryptographic technique, and it's kind of the hardest and highest level technique for a cryptographic protocol. So once you have a UC proof for something, it's generally considered to be like the thing. You've actually achieved highest security level. So we wanted to do this for like 3 years, and we finally did it.
UC というのは、その暗号技術のプロトコルとしては、基本的にはその完成度が一番高いものであるということを物語っています。
But the more interesting part is this right here, the BG part. So proof of stake has this problem. So we're going to play the proof of work game to illustrate the problem. So I need some volunteers. You're going to be one, and you're going to be one, you're going to be one. You should pay a lot of attention.
PG というのも、実際にこれはプルーフ・オブ・ステークで一般的に指摘される問題の、解決につながったことが、ここで理解できると思うので、一旦ですね、プルーフ・オブ・ワークの、ちょっと説明、例えを、出したいと思います。ちょっと前の方々に協力していただいてこれを行います。
So in the proof of work world, if he gives me a chain, and he gives me a chain, and he gives me a chain, well, guess what? How do I know which one's the right one? I do a calculation. So I see how heavy his chain is, how heavy his chain is, how heavy his chain is, and whatever one has the most work on it, the weight behind it, is the winner. That's it.
プルーフオブワークの場合、こちらの方からまた別の方からそしてまた別の方向の方から、チェーンがもし、提示されたとしたら、プルーフオブワークの中ではその一番そこまでにワークが費やされたもの、結論から言うと長さが一番あるものが、正しいチェーンだと、判断されるわけですね。
No prior knowledge is required. You don't have to trust anybody. You don't have to know anything about the network.
ネットワークのことであったりとか、誰が信用できるのか、こういったことを一切確認する必要はないわけです。
Okay, so this is not true in general for the proof of stake world. Let's say they're all running POS now.
で、プルーフオブステークの世界では必ずしも、同じだとは言えません。
So if he gives me a proof of stake chain, and you give me a proof of stake chain, you give me a proof of stake chain, if you don't have any knowledge about distribution, the genesis block, certain transaction patterns, or a checkpoint, it's really hard for you to actually know which one is the right chain.
プルーフオブステークの場合、3社から、チェーンが提示された場合に、ジェネシスブロックの情報であったりとか、それまでのチェックポイントであったりとか、こういった情報をなくして、どれが一番正しいチェーンなのかということを判断するのは非常に難しいです。
Okay, so what we proved here with GKL15 is we just kind of defined what the heck is a blockchain and what makes it secure.
GKL15 の論文では、ブロックチェーンとは何なのか、そして、どういった要素がそれを、安全だ、セキュアだと、言わせるのか、こういったことを、定義しました。
Then what we proved with the Ouroboros original paper is that you can create the same kind of secure ledger that proof of work has, but it had two unrealistic assumptions.
で、ウロボロスの、第1号の論文ではその、プルーフオブワークで、よく使われるその安全だという定義をプルーフオブステークでも、実証可能だということを、書いた論文です。でもこれには2つ非現実的な、過程、要素が含まれていました。
The first unrealistic assumption was that people would stay relatively synchronized or connected to the network, so they would join at least once per epoch, so once every 5 days.
一つは、ほとんどの、ネットワーク参加者が、ほぼ常に、ネットワークに、参加していたりとか、定期的に必ずネットワークにチェックインすること、約、5日間に一度は最低でもログインする、ネットワークに参加することを、過程としていました。
And then the other unrealistic assumption is that the consensus nodes would show up on time when they were due to make a block.
さらに、じゃあ、ブロックの生成の時が来た時にそのコンセンシスノードが、時間通りに現れるということも仮定していました。
So with Ouroboros Praus, we got rid of the second one. People no longer have to show up on time, so it's much more like Bitcoin.
で、ウロボロスプラウスに関して言うと、必ずしも、時間通りに現れなかったとしても同じ、安全性が保証できるという論文です。
Now with this newest paper that we have coming out, the BG paper basically solves that other problem. You now have the same security model as proof of work. So if you give me POS, you give me POS, you give me POS, the only knowledge you need is the genesis distribution. It's preloaded into the client.
この最後の、論文なんですけれども、他方面から違ったブロックチェーンが、提示されたとしても、もともとクライアントに、そのジェネシスブロックのデータが含まれていることからそれと、を参照するだけで、どちらに、どれが信用できるのかということが判断できる、一つ目の残されていた課題が解決されたわけですね。
Which means that basically POS is done. It's equivalent in security and designed to proof of work. Congratulations, as a single-threaded protocol, mission accomplished. 3.5 years of research, off and on, have converged to this point. So we're real proud of that.
どういうことかというと、プルーフオブワークと全く同じ安全性を、プルーフオブステークで、現実的な、環境下でも、再現することができましたと。3年半の仕事がかかりましたけれども、この、一連の論文の、発表により、プルーフオブステークの完成ですね。
And you're like, but Charles, are you done? And I'm like, oh God, no, we're not done.
チャールズ、これで終わりかと聞かれたら、いやいや、全然そんなことはないです。まだまだこれからです。
So, you know what's cooler than Ouroboros?
じゃあ、ウロボロスよりも何がクールか。
Ouroboros Hydra.
ウロボロスハイドラ。
You gotta love these names, right?
ネーミングセンスあるでしょ。
We don't take performance enhancing drugs at all for these things. So we need, yeah, you get it. Don't translate that. So anyway, what we need to do is we need to sharpen the protocol. You'll see EOS say, oh, we can do like 100,000 transactions per second. And, you know, Omni Ledger says they can do the same, and Thunderella says they can do the same, and it's true, they can. What they've done is they've sharded the protocols.
どういうことかというと、ここでシャーディングの話をします。EOS なんかはね、よく、10万トランザクションぐらいすぐ、秒間できるよとか言ってたりします。そういったプロジェクトかなり、たくさん最近出てきてるんですけれども。
So generally what happens though is when you share a protocol, you actually start giving stuff up.
どういうことかというと、一般的にはですね、シャーディングをするというのは、何かと引き換えに、そういった、トランザクション回数が増えるといった理屈です。
So basically what occurs is that you go from 50% Byzantine resistance and a very resilient replicated protocol to a much more fragile protocol, where if everybody follows it, it's super duper fast. But if people deviate from it, first can tolerate less of that, second, when they deviate, it dramatically declines performance.
まずですね、このシャーディングは一般的に言うと、50% 以上全体なネットワークであれば、かなり、のアウトプット、かなりな、性能を示すんですけれども、逆に言うとですね、少しでも、虚偽の、行動を取る、バッドアクターが、出てくると、一気にそれによるその改ざんのリスクにさらされるだけでなく、生産性もかなり、低下してしまいます。
And you know, there are many schemes that exist to do this, the shard protocols, and they've been around for more than 10 years because we have things like Google and Amazon and Netflix, and it turns out that they apparently have lots of users and lots of data and lots of transaction processing going on.
こういったシャーディングの方法もですね、かなり数多く存在していて、10年ぐらい前から、かなり議論されています。なぜかというと、やはりその Google であったりとか Amazon とか、が膨大なその、アクセスを、受け付けなければいけないサービスがここ数年かなり多く出現したからですね。
The hard part is deciding what the trade-off profile needs to be. Basically, what are you willing to give up to get that level of performance?
ですが非常に難しいのが、そこまでの、高パフォーマンスを導き出そうとしたときに何を、犠牲にするのか。
Turns out there aren't any unicorns, they're just horses with horns taped to their head.
ユニコーンのような幻の生き物は実在しません。
So we're going to begin this research stream as soon as we close out the practicality stream, and that's going to start in 2018, and it'll be ongoing through 2019 and 2020. And there'll be multiple versions of Hydra, just like there are multiple versions of the base Ouroboros protocol.
こちらのハイドラに関しては、こちらのプラウスの研究も終了して、発表も終わった段階ですぐに着手し、2018年、19年、20年を通して、少しずつアップデートは続けられると思います。
That was more graceful, wasn't it? Sure. The hand motion, that was nice. I liked it. Okay. So, for purposes of our roadmap, right now we have Ouroboros deployed, and the core consensus nodes are controlled by a federation of entities as we're opening up the network.
今の段階でですね、オロボロスが完成して、今、連合的に運用されている状態で、これからこのプルーフ・オブ・ステークのアルゴリズムが 100%パブリックに公開されようとしています。
So what's going to happen with Shelley is we're going to go to a full version of Ouroboros with some additional things added in. So it's kind of like the halfway house to Ouroboros Praus.
そうですね、ウロボロスに他の機能も加えて、これをシェリーでオープンにしようとしています。
And at that point, it'll be a fully decentralized network. And then sometime during the Shelley timeframe, we're going to move to that Ouroboros Praus BG protocol.
で、100%、その分散化された運用が成り立った段階で、時期に、ウロボロス、プラウスとあと BC の、モデルに、アップデートします。
Okay, and that should get us through 2018 pretty comfortably. Ouroboros in the lab is quite performant. It's got about 250 transactions per second. Don't really need much more than that for these types of systems at the moment.
今ですね、ウロボロスは研究室の段階では、秒間約250トランザクションぐらいまでの、パフォーマンスを見せています。今の段階ではあまりこれ以上の、パフォーマンスは必要ではないかなと判断しています。
And you know, if OmniLedger or others who have used Ouroboros to shard are good indications, it's entirely possible to get several hundred thousand transactions per second over an arc of time. So we feel that we can naturally grow into demand as needed.
さらに、このシャーディングが、現実化すれば、十分に、何十万トランザクション、秒間何十万トランザクションまで持っていけると考えているので、ニーズが増えてくると同時に、こういった成長も、遂げられると考えています。
Okay, so there's a lot more to it, and we can certainly talk about that tonight. But I want to get to these other two real briefly, and then maybe we can circle back to some of the Shelley specific things.
シェリーのことはまだまだお話できるんですけど、ちょっと先に進めます。
So for interoperability, it turns out that we apparently have a lot of different blockchains. Go figure.
互換性に関してですね、実は皆さん、ご存知かわからないんですけど、世界中にはいろんなブロックチェーンが存在します。
So it's okay, you don't have to translate ellipsis. So guess what guys, there's not going to be just one blockchain. there's going to be a lot of them. Like there's 1,000 of them, and there'll be 10,000 by the time we're done with this whole damn field.
今すでにもう1000くらいのブロックチェーンがあります。僕らが、この研究を続けている間にも多分1万くらい、出てくると思います。
I really don't care how good your favorite cryptocurrency happens to be. It's not going to kill all other cryptocurrencies. They're all just going to be around.
どんなに好きな、暗号通貨があっても、それが他のものを全部淘汰するということはちょっとありえないと思います。
So, what turns out is, oh, okay, good, this erases. One time I did this long presentation on this big whiteboard, and it turned out to be a permanent marker. And I was like, no!
一回かなり長いプレゼンを終えて消そうとしたら、消えなかったことがあったのでちょっとドキッとしました。
They actually sent me a bill for $800 to have it cleaned.
ホワイトボードを弁償してくれと8万円請求されました。
Okay. Oh shit, we have another one? Oh cool. All right, yay! More whiteboards. I don't even have to erase my beautiful work. Thank you, Purple. His name is seriously Purple. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about interoperability. Yes, we have this thing called an interledger transaction.
インターレジャートランザクション。
Oh, I love the way he translated that.
大腸間取引と呼ばれるものが存在します。
Let's get there. Yeah, there we go, right? So what an interledger transaction is all about conceptually is you have a source ledger and you have a destination ledger. What you're doing is you're sending a transaction from one to the other, and the validators in this ledger are trying to prove two things.
ですね、出どころの台帳があり、行き先の台帳があります。で、こちらのその台帳の承認者がこの取引を承認しようとします。
First, that your asset exists, that it's real, that you're actually sending over real tokens.
確認することはまずそのアセットが実在すること、トークンが実物であること。
Second, that they haven't been double spent.
さらにそれが、二重使用されていないこと。
I'll put a little asterisk there because technically that could be end spent. You could send it to 100 ledgers at the same time. But you get the idea. Not translating that, huh? Okay. So we have the interledger transaction. So let's say this is Litecoin and this is Bitcoin, and I'm sending my Litecoin to my Bitcoin. Now, in some magical world where we can actually upgrade the Bitcoin protocol maybe one day, the validators of this system would receive this bizarre transaction, and they'd say, boy, you're getting some Litecoin. And then the validators are going to ask, well, is it actual real Litecoin? And then they're going to say, well, did they send it to any other ledger, or is it still on the Litecoin ledger? They have to get some assurances of these two things.
はい、台帳間取引ですね。もしこれがビットコインとライトコインの台帳だったとして、ライトコインからビットコインに送られてきたとしましょう。まずこれがビットコインが奇跡的な進歩によりライトコインからのこのトランザクションを受け付けることができるということが想定されているんですけれども、それが可能だったとして、じゃあ、ライトコインが届いたよと、ビットコインのブロックチェーン側の承認者が気づきます。でそこで確認することが2つあって、1つは、まずそのライトコインが本物であるということ、そして次にそのライトコインがもうすでに他のチェーンやそのチェーン内の他の場所に移されていないことを確認する必要があります。
And so if you want to go back, you just flip these. So SD, you go DS. And the validators here would then validate the transaction. So you can go in both directions.
逆もしかりですね、全く同じ理屈を真逆の方向で行います。
So anyway, that's basically the sidechains concept in a nutshell is how do we do this with the smallest proofs possible and the smallest amount of knowledge possible.
サイドチェーンというのは、簡潔に言うとこういうことです。ただこれを、どのくらい、簡潔な、プルーフ、証明のもと行うのか、さらに、少ない情報のもと、行えるのか、ここが想定になってきます。
So our research streams on this started with what are called proofs of proof of work. Proofs of proof of work.
これが、プルーフ・オブ・ワークの証明、proofs of proof of work と言います。
はい。Okay. So we did this like 2016. It was an awesome paper. I think it actually got accepted to crypto. I can't recall. It was a good paper though. I liked reading it.
この論文もですね、2016年に、クリプトという、暗号学会で発表されたと思います。
But guess what? These were interactive. Oh no. Which meant to actually make them work, You had to synchronize with somebody on the other chain.
でも、インタラクティブだと言っていた時点で、これは、もう一つのブロックチェーン側でも、これが更新可能である、必要がありました。
The whole point of these systems is I like being antisocial. I should never have to talk to anybody anytime ever, or even have a single friend in the whole wide world.
このブロックチェーンの、今の概念としては、完全にその、ブロックチェーン、自身のブロックチェーン内だけでコミュニケーションをして、友達が一人もいない、そんな、孤立した状態です。
Paranoid antisocial engineering. Okay. So how about we put an N in front of it? Non-interactive proofs of work.
じゃあ、これの、ノンインタラクティブなものをどうやって証明するか。
Okay, so we did that. We did that in 2017. Paper is already out. Beautiful, wonderful paper. We've submitted it to a few conferences. It should eventually work its way through the peer review circuit.
こちらもですね、2017年に論文が書き上げられて、今現在、いろんな学者に、厳しい審査を、通ろうとしているところです。
This guy looks pretty smart though. It's like, Charles, didn't solve the problem, did you?
この前の彼、すごく賢そうなんですけれども、彼は多分チャールズまだ、問題を解決していないよと思っていると思います。
But we have proof of stake chains in addition to proof of work chains.
今、プルーフオブワークのチェーン以外にもプルーフオブステークのチェーンも存在するんじゃないか。
And the answer is yes, we do. You need to use different cryptographic primitives and techniques to be able to make this work with a proof of stake chain.
そうなんです。その通りで、この同じ証明をプルーフオブステークでも行おうとすると、どうしても少し違ったテクニックが必要になります。
So we have a series of papers that are coming out soon. First targeting Ouroboros, and then beginning slightly more general, so they can be used in most modern proof of stake protocols. That will complete the loop, so that we can generate proofs for proof of work and proofs for proof of stake.
で、これをですね、ウロボロス用のものを作成して一般的なプルーフオブステークアルゴリズム大体のもので使えるようにしようと考えています。
So once this is done, we can build this logic into Cardano, and then we're going to try to get it into as many protocols as we can, like Ethereum Classic and Zencash, and make it an open standard that everybody can use.
で、これをですね、完成したらカルダノに応用しようと考えており、可能であれば ETC や全キャッシュなどにも組み込み、ある種の業界のスタンダードにしたいと考えています。
You get two big benefits if you adopt this protocol.
で、このプロトコルを採用すれば2つ大きな利点があります。
The first benefit is that you get the ability to talk to other blockchains that support it in a very low-cost way. Low cost being small proofs, small transaction fees.
一つは、すごく低い、トランザクションコストで他のブロックチェーンとの互換性が生まれます。
Second, by nature of how these proofs work, you can build really secure SPV clients, like clients, that are almost as secure as full nodes without storing a huge amount of data.
さらにですね、これが可能になると、かなり、安全が保証できる、SPV のクライアントができて、フルノードと同じくらいの、そこまでのデータを、保存しなくても、かなり近いセキュリティが保証できます。
Because guess what? The same thing that allows you to go from source to destination also lets you do this.
元々のチェーンから、行き先のチェーンまでをこれを、確認することで、もう一つのことが得られます。
So you can just not keep a copy of the full blockchain and just validate it from just the small proofs that are generated. So you can get very efficient, lightweight clients with this model.
すべてのブロックチェーンを確認せずとも、その取引の、信憑性を確認することができます。なので、かなり、ライトウェイトなクライアントを作ることができます。
Okay, so interoperability is a game of standards, a game of cooperation. This is our theory view of interoperability, this abstraction and this model of how we move assets. There's other ways of doing it, like atomic cross-chain swaps. There's even whole blockchains that talk about this stuff, like Aeon, for example.
で、これはあくまでこの互換性に関しては基準を生み出してそれを数々のブロックチェーンが、採用することによってしか成り立ちません。我々のビジョンがこういったところで、他にも、アトミックスワップなどを使った違った技術も議論されていますし、エオンなどこれに特化したブロックチェーンなども存在しているので、最終的にどうなるかはまだ分かりません。
I don't like using JSON, but because everybody else uses it, I gotta use it. So similarly, if somebody else's interoperability idea is better than mine, we'll adopt it shamelessly.
もし、他のプロジェクトがより、スマートな、ソリューションを提案してくれば、僕が作ったやつじゃなくて残念ですけれども当然そちらを採用しようと思っています。
Okay, so the last plank, the last pillar is sustainability.
では最後にサステナビリティの話をします。
Okay, so what the heck does that mean? Is that one of those buzzwords? Well, yes, it is. It's a good buzzword, though.
現在サステナビリティ、本当にいろんなところで耳にする機会が増えました。
It's a happy buzzword. Okay, so with respect to sustainability, you kind of have two planks to sustainability. First is the how do I pay for stuff plank. You put a little asterisk and stay out of jail, i.e. no ICO.
サステナビリティにも2つの側面があり、1つはどうやってコストを長期的に賄うのか、ICO をひたすらやらずにということですね。
Come on, it's timely. All these subpoenas came up today. Great. And the other side of it is the how do I change stuff side of sustainability, also known as the keep Roger happy. Don't know who Roger is? I'm not going to tell you.
もう一つが、どうやって、アップデートも何かの設定などを変えていくのかということですね。
Okay, so both of these are super duper important as it turns out, because if these are going to be global scale systems with millions and billions of users, well, they're going to command a fairly large price tag to maintain them.
でこの2つとも非常に重要で、特に、これからユーザーを何百万人とか、何億人とか抱えようと、思っているプロジェクトであればなおさら、コストも非常にかかると思います。
And furthermore, if you don't have a governance system in some way connected to the blockchain, how do you actually fork the protocol when you have to make some hard decisions about what to do?
さらにこういったそのガバナンスのシステム、強いガバナンスのシステムをなくして、何らか、アップデートが必要な時とか、どうやってじゃあプロトコルを、フォークするのか、こういった議論が非常に難しくなります。
If I start saying Cardano Classic, Cardano Classic Classic, Cardano Classic Cubed enter the Cardano, I've lost.
もし、このプロジェクトがですね、この先カルダノクラシック、カルダノクラシック2、カルダノクラシックキューブ、こういったものが出てきたら僕は失敗したと思います。
Okay, so what underpins both of these and why they're connected together is this idea of voting.
で、この2つともに今通ずる、テーマがあります。これが、投票ですね、ボーティングシステムですね。
So succinctly, you can print money. That's what blockchains do. They're central banks. They just print money. So you can certainly print money to pay for things.
極論を言うと、ブロックチェーンというのは、中央銀行のような仕組みであって、どんどん、新しい、トークンを、作り出すことができます。
Dash does this, Pivx does this, Zencash does this, Zcash does this. There's a lot of cash.
ダッシュや、ビビックスや、ゼンキャッシュ、Zcashなども、こういった手法を取っています。
And that's okay. And the other side of it is, well, if you're going to change stuff, you have to get some democratic consent. The people who have the right to vote should be able to tell you where they want to take the system they own.
さらに、じゃあそのシステムの何か設定を変えたいのであれば、それは当然、何らか公平な、仕組みによって、投票して、それによって方向性を決めるべきではないでしょうか。
Or you can just go ask Vitalik. I mean, it's a decision which way you want to go with it.
それが、ビタリックに答えてもらって、その通りにするっていう手もありますね。
Yeah, but he's only available on Tuesdays. So basically, both of these require a voting system, and that's what we're working on real hard with Cardano.
なんで、こちらですね、2つとも非常に深刻な課題として、カルダノでは、この問題の解決に取り組んでいます。
So we have this wonderful professor at Lancaster University. His name is Bin Shin.
ランキャスター大学にいる教授で、ビンシン教授というのがいらっしゃいます。
What Bin Shin has done is he's taken liquid democracy and he's combined it with some modern e-voting techniques.
リクイッドデモクラシーと呼ばれる、概念と、e ボーティングシステムとの融合に彼は成功しています。
And then he combined it with a lot of preliminary research we did into the Dash Treasury model.
さらに、我々が、ダッシュの、トレジャリーモデルについて、行った研究とこの情報を組み合わせています。
And so what we're doing is we're kind of fine-tuning this system so that we can apply it towards a treasury system and we can apply it towards a blockchain forking system, similar to what Tezos is trying to do with the Venetian voting system.
なんで、このシステムをですね、細かく調整して、最終的には、その金庫の、お金、トレジャリーのお金の使用方法にも扱い、なおかつ、その今後のブロックチェーンのフォークに関しても使えるようにと改善をし続けています。
Okay, so anyway, I could talk about this for like 2 hours because voting is a great and interesting topic, but we made a video about it. Ben Sheng gives about an hour-long whiteboard lecture on YouTube. I just recommend watching that because it's a bit more concise and less rambly than anything you're going to get from me tonight.
こういったその投票のシステムについても非常に関心が高くて、僕も何時間でも話せるんですけれども、教授が、ホワイトボードの前で、より僕よりも分かりやすく、簡潔に説明している動画があるので、ぜひ YouTube で見ていただければと思います。
So anyway, we're still in the protocol design component, but we do have some papers that we've released, and I'd highly recommend looking into that. We'll roll this out throughout 2018, 2019, back half of 2018 and 2019 for some preliminary cryptographic requirements. So if you use things like additive homomorphic encryption. Yeah, you're going to translate that.
No, I'm not going to translate.
You're going to translate additive homomorphic encryption?
ですね、この部分に関してもそのプロトコルの開発が、研究がまだ続けられている状態なので、まだ導入はされないんですけれども、ぜひ興味深い課題なので、動画を見ていただければと思います。実際の実装に関しては、2018年後半から19年ぐらいにかけて行われるかなと思います。
And some other heavyweight cryptographic techniques, including MPC. So it's not simple protocol, it's pretty involved. But at the end of the day, we think it's a pretty cool way of viewing how to do treasury and how to do blockchain forking. But that's our sustainability plan, is create some sort of government on blockchain.
他にも、マルチパーティーコンピューテーションなど複雑な暗号技術を、導入した、ものを作り上げていく予定ですけども、一旦今のところ決まっているのはこの辺りですね。
Alright, so we're done with that. Purple, bring over the other board. Did you wipe it down for me? Oh, wow, yeah, that's cool. They're going to send me a bill, it's going to happen. Thank you. So let's talk Shelley. 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 I think they're trying to hide me behind these boards. So basically the road to Shelley is like the road to hell. It's been pretty hard for us. This is another unhappy face. You can see the mood I'm in, lots of unhappy faces.
Oh, Shelley, までの道のりも非常に大変でした。
There we go. Road to Shelley. Yeah, all right. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is kind of get Byron right. So Shelley. Yay. Okay. How many people here have downloaded Daedalus?
この中でダイダロスをダウンロードされた方はどのくらいですか？
Some people, all right. How many people here had a connecting to network issue at least once?
ネットワーク接続の問題があったことがある人いますか？
Okay. How many people experience long syncing times?
シンクその同期ネットワークの同期に非常に時間がかかったことがある人は？
How many people have trouble recovering from the seed?
シードからのリカバリーが大変だった方は？
You know what I mean? Takes like 3 hours to go through that whole thing. Right?
12単語を入力してからかなり時間がかかったことはありますか？
Okay, whenever you build new software, it turns out that not everything works completely right the first time you do it. Go figure.
新しいソフトウェアを開発するとどうしても一番最初は思った通り機能しないことがあります。
Okay, so there's a collection of things we're shipping very soon. There's about 400 pull requests.
もうすぐ、いろいろ、更新されるものがあるんですけれども、
And a collection of things we'll be shipping in another upcoming patch. This was originally supposed to ship in February, but it failed regression tests, so we pushed it out to early March.
400ほどの小さな改善点が含まれるパッチがもうすぐ出されます。本当はこれですね、2月の頭に、配信される予定だったんですけれども、ストレステストに、耐えられなくて、少し遅れてしまいました。
Okay, so as we ship these, a lot of stuff is going to get better. Network syncing will get faster, the wallet will be a lot more reliable, and the underlying code will be a lot better.
こういったものを配信すると、皆さんが抱えていたそのネットワークの同期時間などが劇的に短縮されると思いますし、それ以外にも、安定する、要素がかなり増えると思います。
Okay. There are 4 engineering teams actually working on Cardano in 8 countries.
今、カルダノに、着手している、個別のエンジニアリングチームが、約8カ国に4チームいます。
I think there are about 7 time zones total.
みんな、違う、タイムゾーンに住んでいて、だいたい7つぐらい、分かれていると思い
So
ます。
apparently it was a really, really hard thing to figure out how we actually get everybody to play nice together, get everything coordinated and synchronized, and project management underhand, reasonable software development, release cycles, and so forth.
なんでこれだけ散らばったところにいるいろんな人材に協力、お互いに協力してコミュニケーションを取り、プロジェクトマネジメントを順調に進めるというのは非常に難易度が高かったです。
And that's really what Byron was all about. You guys were kind of the beta test. I'm so sorry about that.
皆さんに初期テストに参加していただいて非常に申し訳なかったんですけども、これから改善されてくると思います。
So this whole stream of work is to get Byron where it needs to go, so then we can build Shelley on bedrock.
でこの流れまでをですね、慎重に確実に進めたことによって、シェリーに関しては、確固たるスタートポイントがあると考えていただければと思います。
And if we can't get it done, I'll commit seppuku.
うまく更新できなかったら切腹するかもしれません。
Okay, so anyway, this is March. I'll say ish because you never know, but it should be early March, or I'll get really, really annoying.
このパッチですね、400の細かい改善点に関しては3月中に出すつもりです。もしうまくいかなければかなりみんなにブチ切れると思います。
And the next one is going to be Aprilish, and we might do a third patch just to clean up whatever's on the back end, and we're gradually going to add some features like multi-sig and paper wallets and automated log sending and so forth. I think paper wallets may be shipping here or here. I can't recall which one we got it at because there's like so much stuff going in SP1. It's 4 months of stuff.
そして次のアップデートで、マルチシグウォレットとかいろいろ追加機能を、配信する予定です。もしかしたらペーパーウォレットの機能については先に3月の段階で更新だったかもしれません。ちょっとあまりにも、更新するものが非常に多くてどこに含めたのかはっきり覚えてないです。
We've actually been maintaining 2 branches at the same time. We have the branch you guys use for your Daedalus, and then there's the branch the exchanges use for Cardano, and these are different, and they have different features.
実はですね、そのウォレットに関しても2つ並行して、開発を進めていました。1つは皆さんが使っているもので、もう1つは、取引所が使っているものです。これはですね、全く別で、取引所は取引所用のちょっと特別な機能がいくつか加わっています。
Byron SP1 is merging all that together, so we have one common code base.
で、これがですね、バイロンで一つに統合されると考えています。
Okay. And SP2 will be putting a lot of the scaffolding and infrastructure for Shelley. It's also going to be further cleaning up performance problems and usability issues and so forth. We engineered on the side of security first instead of performance and quality.
基本的にこの開発の手順もですね、セキュリティ優先、パフォーマンスやクオリティを、少し後回しに開発を行ったので、ちょっとまだまだ、整えないといけない部分が多くあるんですけれども、SP2 では基本的に、シェリーのアップデートのための、足場を組んでいくような形で、必要があれば、バックエンドでの、後片付けを行っていきます。
Okay, so once we overcome the Byron issues, which we're moving very quickly with, and oh, by the way, this will also put all the scaffolding for Ledger. It's also going to put all the scaffolding for a mobile wallet, so it's going to be fairly straightforward to deploy those things once these things are cleared.
バイロンが、ここまでのアップデートが完了した段階で、レジャーであったりとか、モバイルウォレット用の、ほとんど下地も完成するので、そこからの導入も早く、進むと思います。
Once we've done all that, then we can actually have meaningful discussion about what is it actually Shelley all about? What are the bare minimum things we need to do?
はい、ここまで、完成したところで、じゃあシェリーは具体的に何なのか、どういったことが必要なのかという話ができます。
You have stuff like delegation. Ooh. By the way, it's kind of ironic. Dan said I ripped off DPoS, but my protocol doesn't have delegation yet. So how did I steal DPoS when we're not even DPoS?
ダンに、デレゲーションを、盗んだだろうって言われたんですけど、もともとのプロトコルがデレゲーションを含んでいない時点で僕は全然似てないと思うんですけどね。
This is kind of arena light. So there are several major work streams that are bundled into the Shelley release, and we'll go kind of through them in order.
シェリーのリリースの中で、いくつかまとめられている、機能というか、新機能があります。
Okay. So just to get this off the monkey off the back, we're enhancing our peer-to-peer protocol and putting some RENA-esque features into it. RENA stands for Recursive Inter-Network Architecture.
先にここの部分を説明するとですね、P2P の、ネットワークのやり取りの方法自体をですね、改善する予定でして、RENA と呼ばれるものにすごく似通った特徴を、付随させます。
And basically, it's the first step in that scalability formula where not everybody has to watch everything in the network. It's not a gossip protocol, it's a multicast. So there's some peer-to-peer stuff we have to do.
スケーラビリティの話でもあったように、必ずしもネットワーク全体が全てのトランザクションを見なくてもいいという、そういった機能のアップデートだと考えていただければと思います。
And if you're really curious about that, we have some YouTube videos we've created, and you can look at Delta Q, and you can look at Neil and Peter talk about how we view networking. And it's about 2 hours or so worth of whiteboard videos and content there.
これについてもですね、もし詳しく知りたいようであれば、ぜひ YouTube で見ていただければと思います。ネオや、
Delta Q
デルタ Q などが、動画が存在します。2時間ぐらいなんで、ぜひ見ていただければと思います。
Now these three guys are all interconnected with each other, so we're actually going to pay special attention to them.
で、この長期の3つはですね、全てお互いつながっているので、ちょっとまとめて考えたいと思います。
We got a system going on here. I like it. Come on out. So efficient. It's unbelievable. Oh, is that side already clean? Cool. Thanks, Purple. I love Japan. If this was like Britain, they'd tell me to bugger off and throw something at me. I was just in London, by the way. Not related to that statement at all. Okay, so let's talk about how Ouroboros works under the hood for a moment.
一度ですね、じゃあウロボロスの、実際のエンジン内部でどういったことが起こっているのかちょっと見てみましょう。
So you have two inputs. You have a distribution and you have randomness, and it goes into an algorithm. Randomness, distribution,
ランダムさと、トークンの配布状況、この2つが、インプットとして使われます。
And what it does is it outputs a number between 1 and n.
1から n までの数字が、これによって吐き出されます。
So you could make a strip of numbers and label them 1, 2, 3, n minus 2, n minus 1. Use the proper notation, Charles. There you go, n. You could do that. And these are Lovelaces. These are the smallest unit of our system. It's kind of like the Satoshi for Bitcoin.
これが、ビットコインにとってのサトシのように、我々の、ネットワーク内での最小単位ですね。
Okay, so what happens with our algorithm, Ouroboros, is you put randomness, you put distribution into something called follow the Satoshi. Since we use Lovelaces, I'll just call that follow the Lovelace. Kind of creepy and stalkerish. And what's going to happen is it's going to output some number x. Between 1 and n.
ランダムさとトークンの配布状況、これによる、フォローザ、ラブレスというこの作業を終えると、ある一定の数が排出されます。
And once it gets that x, it's going to go find it on that strip, and then it's going to look up and say which address owns it.
で、このx という数字が決定した段階で、それを全ての数字の中から見つけます。そしてその全ての数字の中から見つけたものが現在どのアドレスで管理されているのかということを確認します。
So how Ouroboros works is you have slots and epochs. And slots are the people who actually get to make the block for that period of time.
ウロボロスにはスロットというものとエポックというものがあります。で、スロットはですね、それぞれそのブロックを生成する権利のある人のことを指します。
So how this flows is you get some randomness, a distribution of A to ownership, run the algorithm, makes an X. That X is somewhere in this strip. It goes ahead and finds the address that owns it. Let's say it's Bob, and congratulations, Bob, you are the new winner of slot number 1. And if you're a computer scientist, I'll just start labeling this 0, because probably one is making you nuts or something.
まず、そのランダムスタート、トークンの配布状況、これを、ある一定のプロセスにかけると出てきます数字、これを、この、数字の、全部の中から、どこに現在あるのかを見つけ出します。それの、アドレスの保有者が、これボブだったとしましょう。それとおめでとうございます。ボブが、第1ブロックの、生成権を持つわけです。今厳密に言うとこの一番最初の数字は多分0だと思うんですけれどもね。
Okay, so it repeats the algorithm again, and it elects the next person. And it repeats this all the way until all the slots in the epoch are filled out, and that becomes the committee that runs the network for that period of time.
で、これがですね、すべてのスロットが埋まるまで、何度も繰り返されて、エポック内のすべてのスロットが埋まると、ここで、終了で、この、方々が、この期間、この、エポックを管理する委員となるわけですね。
Okay, so what happens when Bob's slot comes up? He has 3 choices.
で、ボブのスロットがの順番が来たときに彼は3つの選択肢があります。
Bob can either make the block because he has the right to do it.
ボブはブロックを作ることもできるし、
Bob can not show up at all or make the wrong block.
ボブは、一切参加しない、もしくは間違ったブロックを作ることもできるし、
Or Bob might have this amazing friend named Bill. And Bill's a real cool guy. I'm gonna give him like a top hat, and a cane, a cape, like a monocle.
もしくは、ボブにはビルという友人がいて、そのすごくクールな友人なわけですね。
Okay, and this is Bill. Bill is a stake pool operator.
でビルはステークプールを運営しているものです。
Okay, and so basically what Bob can do is he can delegate his rights to Bill. So when the Bob slot comes up, the network says, "Hey Bob, where are you at?" And then all of a sudden Bill shows up and he says, "Oh, Bob gave me the right to do that." And the network's like, "Okay, show me your certificate." If he has it, the network lets him make the block.
ボブの、スロットの順番が回ってきた段階でボブ、ブロックを作ってくださいとなったタイミングで、じゃあビルがもし現れたとして、でもボブから、それを頼まれているんだよと、じゃあそれを証明する必要があるんですけれども、証明さえできれば、じゃあボブのブロックにもかかわらず、これはビルが、そのブロックを生成することができます。
Okay, so this is a nice compromise between a pure proof of stake system and a delegated proof of stake system, where you can have your cake and eat it too. You can either run in a delegated mode or you can run in an individual mode. It depends on your network topology.
これはですね、ピュアなプルーフ・オブ・ステークのモデル、と、他人に、それを、譲ることができる、デレゲーティブなプルーフ・オブ・ステークのモデルとの中間ですね、どちらもできるということです。
So there's some questions though you have to answer to make this scheme practical. One is, how does Bob find Bill?
ですが、このスキームを実用的にするにはいくつかのことを解決しないといけないです。まず、ボブはどうやってビルを見つけるのか。
Second is, what incentive does Bob have?
さらに、ボブのインセンティブは何なのか。
Okay. And then things like, how does Bill reward Bob?
さらに、ビルはどうやってボブに、報酬を与えるのか。
And then there's some existential questions like, how many bills?
そして、それ以外にも、ビルは何人くらい存在するのか、していいのか。
Turns out that it's probably wise not to have 1,000 or 1,000,000 bills, but probably a smaller set for quality of service if you imagine that most of the network will be run in a delegated mode.
ネットワークの大半がこのデレゲーテッドモードで、運用されるということを考えると、ビルは何万人とかいない方がいいと思いますね。より小さなグループであればその分、品質管理なども行われやすいのかな。
And if you've been paying attention, really close attention, you're going to say, wait, what about Jim? And you're like, wait, who the hell is Jim?
でここで丁寧に聞いていた方なら、ジムはどうなったのって思うと思います。でもジムって一体誰でしょう？
I'm going to take a drawing class at some time, guys.
絵描きのクラスを受けた方がいいですね。
There we go. Okay. Jim owns an exchange. Ooh.
ジムは取引所を、運営しています。
And you're like, what the bloody hell does an exchange have to do with any of this?
ここで取引所がどう関係あるのか考えてしまいますね。
Well, when I do this thingamabob and I pick X, how does X know that it's at an exchange account versus your personal wallet?
でここでですね、さっきの手順を踏んだときに X という数字が、吐き出されました。じゃあその数字ですね、その数字に割り当てられているトークンが、実際に皆さんのウォレットに入っているのか、それとも取引所のウォレットに入っているのか、どうやってネットワークは判断するでしょう。
It doesn't unless you tell it.
これは、直接言わないと判断はできません。
Which means that people who happen to be holding your ADA on your behalf may inadvertently get elected for your slot.
なんで、もし、あなたの代わりにトークンを、保持してくれている方が、予期せぬ形で、そのスロットを割り当てられる可能性があります。
Yeah, so these are all interconnected questions to each other, and there's a few more questions. We had 17 that we came up with when we were designing this scheme.
こういったですね、細かい質問とか、明確にされないといけないポイントがいくつも出てきます。厳密に言うと17個見つかりました。我々が開発していた段階で。
And then there's also a matter of payment. You know, everybody always asks, when do I get paid?
さらに今みんな聞きたいのが、いつこの報酬であったりインセンティブが払われるのか、いつですか。
Okay. So Bitcoin, you get paid when you make the block.
ビットコインの場合はブロックが生成されたタイミングで、支払われます。
With Cardano, you get paid at the end of the epoch, which is 5 days.
カルダノの場合はエポック終了と同時に支払われます。要は5日後ですね。
Okay. So there's some reasons for that. We'll get into it a little bit.
これの理由についてももう少し後ほどお
Get
話
another
ししま
poll
す。
for it. You got another board? Let's see. Oh, this side's good. Okay. Keep erasing the sun. Okay, these wheels suck. Ah.
Probably live.
Yeah, it probably is. Let's see. Reasons why I didn't finish grad school. Okay, so let's start working our way through a few of these questions. The first question was, how do they find each other? So we thought about this long and hard, and we said, let's just build the damn thing into the blockchain and into Daedalus and make it super duper easy. So come lunch of Shelley, we're going to have this thing called a delegation center.
どうやって、じゃあボブがビルを見つけるのかという質問から言ってみましょう。でこれに関してですね、いろんなことが話し合われたんですけれども、我々としてはこれがすごくシンプルにできるように、ダイドロスにもこれを組み込んじゃおうという意見に、落ち着きました。ということで、ごめんなさい、when did you say? シェリーのアップデートと同時に、このデレゲーションセンターというものが、表示されます。
And what you can do is you can issue a special transaction that carries a data payload in it and register your stake pool. So all the metadata and information required to actually find that stake pool and interact with it, you can put right onto the blockchain.
ここでですね、特別な取引を行うことによってステークプールを見つける上で必要な情報をすべてこのままブロックチェーン上に載せてしまうことができます。
And then you can also search stake pools. So amongst the set of all registered stake pools, you can put in some keywords, metadata, other things, and find Bill. Or something like maybe metadata about your favorite charity. 25% goes to the Save the Lemur Fund.
さらにですね、探したい側も、特定の情報を入力して、そのステーキングプールを探し出すことができるようになります。
Is that hard? No. So I'm just going to check this off. Bob and Bill can find each other through a blockchain-based brokerage. All right.
ボブはビルを容易に見つけられるような仕組みが出来上がりました。
So then, anybody ever here use a ledger or a paper wallet?
ここでですね、レジャーとか、トレザーとか、ペーパーウォレットであったり、ハードウェイウォレットを使う方はいらっしゃいますか？
It'd be a pretty shitty user experiences if I said, hey, to interact with all my delegation stuff, your key has to be hot. Because that means you then have to take your cold wallet and make it a hot wallet to do something and then go back to cold wallet. That defeats the whole point, right?
で、もしじゃあこのデレゲーションのプロセスの中でコールドウォレットが使えないということでホットウォレットに切り替えてまた戻す必要があったら非常に大変ですね。せっかくのコールドウォレットの安全性も危険にさらされます。
So what we've done is we allowed the creation of a proxy key. So how this works is that you go ahead and sign a special key. It's called a heavyweight delegation certificate, or a proxy key.
もともとの秘密鍵で、ヘビーウェイトデレゲーションキーと呼ばれるもの、プロキシキーとも呼んでもいいですね。これに署名します。
And within the delegation center, Daedalus can manage that key for you, but the value key, the thing that you actually spend your money with, can be cold. So you can actually stake with a paper wallet or a ledger device.
で、これをですね、デレゲーションセンターでは、管理することができて、こうすることによって、その実際の、コールドウォレットもしくはペーパーウォレットに管理したまま、これでステーキングができるようになります。
It turns out that the creation of this was a very intellectually vigorous effort for us because we had a hell of a lot of discussions of how we wanted to actually build it and what we could solve with it.
実際にこれをどういうふうに構築するのかという議論自体、非常に困難を極めた話し合いでした。
But we settled on a model that's really cool. Not only is it going to eventually let you control staking, but also you can use it for voting and every other thing that's associated with stake in the system.
でもこの議論の末に得られた結果が実際にこのステーキングもさることながらボーティング投票のシステムにも応用できるものになったので満足しています。
And the first question you have is, but Charles, what happens when Eve comes by and steals my proxy key?
じゃあチャールズ、もしここでイーブという女の子が現れてこのプロキシキーを盗んだとしましょう。その場合はどうなるんですか？
Get rid of it, make another one.
これは破棄して新しいものを生成すればいいですね。
It's like revoking a certificate or a PGP.
証書を取り上げるかのような作業です。
So anyway, so this will ship with Shelley, version 1 of it. Initially it will be used for delegation to state pools only, but eventually it will also be used for voting and other characteristics of the system. We have an upgrade path for that.
これはですね、シェリーの更新とともに使えるようになるんですけれども、最初はステーキングのデレゲーション、割り当てが行えるという機能で、それ以後のバージョンで投票であったりとかにも使えるようにします。
So are we done? Oh God, no, we got a lot of other shit to do.
これ以外にもやらないといけないことがまだまだあります。
Lots of stuff. Okay, so let's hear it. We have Bob's address structure, we have the delegation center, we have cold staking resolved. Where else should we go with it? All right, let's say you want to run a stake pool. How do you do that?
じゃあステーキングプールをやるやり方はどうやったらいいんでしょうか？
Well, you just have to take a full node of Cardano and run it with certain APIs and certain calls, but that's pretty hard. So what we're going to do is create a reference Docker image.
A reference what?
I'll write it down, don't worry, son. Reference Docker image. Anybody here know about Docker? Show of hands. Some people raise their hands. I can see the reflection. I don't believe that I saw a reflection of hands.
厳密に言うとですね、ステーキングプール自体は自身で体のフルノードを運用して、そこにいくつか API を使えば十分できるはずなんですけれども、これでも難易度が難しいという方のために、Reference Docker Image というものを作りました。
So how this is going to work is that we'd love to actually beta test this before we release it. Go figure, test before you release. Who knows?
これはですね、具体的にはテストが完了してから、公開しようと思っています。
And that's done in phases. So the first stage is who here wants to run a stake pool? Anybody here?
ここでステーキングプールをやってみたい人はいますか？
Okay. So we're going to create a sign-up form. It should have come out last month. Yelled at my comms director because they let that slip, but we'll get it out this month. It's not too hard. It's a Google form.
こういったものをやってみたいという人のサインアップフォームが作られます。Google で、作られます。
Okay, and that form will basically collect some data about who you are, what you want to do, and your background and so forth. And we'll pick a subset of the people who submitted to be basically in our beta test.
このグループの方々、当然、個人情報、ある程度の個人情報、どういったことをやりたいのか、バックグラウンドについての情報を入力することによって、我々のデータテスティングに向いている方をちょっと選出させていただきます。
Okay, and then what we're going to do is create a special channel in our Slack and invite all those people into the Slack.
で、ここにスラックに、特別なチャンネルを作って、そこにこの方々をお招きします。
And once we've done that, we'll start having a conversation with them. We'll be back and forth for a little bit. And as this reference Docker image is made available, and it'll be made to cross-deploy on more than one infrastructure, so Amazon Web Services plus a few others, we'll start actually rolling them out on a test net.
いろんなものでの実験を繰り返した上で、最終的にテストネット上でこれを公表します。
Okay, and then once we've run it on the test net, burnt it in for a little while, then there'll be some sort of grace period. Actually, I wrote it up here, didn't I? Oh yeah, I did. Yay. Right over here, where all those people who are in that set can then go register on Cardano alongside all the people who weren't invited. They can also register. Anybody can register a stake pool. Huzzah!
で、最終的にステーキングプール誰でも自分自身で行うことができるようになります。
And so we think this is probably going to be the most natural, graceful rollover of the network to a fully decentralized network. It's kind of a core constituency that knows how to run it.
こういった経緯を経て、完全に分散型の、プロトコルにしていこうと考えています。
Give them a reference image that they can use easily or modify themselves.
で、レファレンスイメージを使うことによって、あまり詳しくなくても、自身で使ったりとか、それを多少組み替えたりできるようにします。
Give them a test net to run it on, and when they run it on that test net, then we can get some empirical data and make sure that everything's running the way we thought it was.
これをテストネットで運用してみて、問題がないかどうか確認します。
Now, are we done yet? No, we're not done yet, because I haven't answered one of the most important questions. I don't care about time. You guys don't care about time, right? I didn't think so. We'll stay till they kick us out. Oh yeah, okay, let's swap boards. Wow. Thanks for all the help here, Alex. I really appreciate it. Okay. All right. So how do we get paid? How do we pay people? What's payment all about? Okay, so here's what happens. Lots of stuff happens in the epoch. And you have transaction fees. Yay.
エポックの間にいろんなことが行われて、その間の取引手数料、トランザクションフィーがたくさんあります。
Okay? And then you have this idea of inflation.
さらにインフレーションもあります。
Okay. And these will accumulate into a big pool at the end of the epoch.
こういったものがエポックの最後に全て集約されます。
And so you have Bill and his stake pool, and maybe Alice showed up, and the rest of the gang.
ステーキングプールを行っているビルやそれ以外の、実際に自身のスロットでブロックを生成した人たち、いろんな人たちが現れます。
So what happens is you're going to have a special type of transaction where you can claim reward. You submit a proof.
ここで最後に報酬を受け取るための特殊なトランザクションを生成できます。
Okay, and you submit that against the pool, and you'll get some proportion of the total amount in the pool.
ここで最後にエポックの終了時点でプールされている資金に対して送ることによってその一部を受け取ることができます。
So why the heck would we want to build a scheme like this?
なんでこんなスキームを作ったのか。
Well, first off, some of this pool is going to go to the treasury system.
まず、このプールの一部です。プールされている資金の一部が、トレジャリーに、使われるからですね。
Second, as these networks grow in sophistication and utility, you're going to do more stuff than just build blocks.
さらにこのネットワーク自体がより複雑になってきた段階で、ブロックの生成以外のことも、行われるようになるからです。
Anybody ever have to pay for an OC192 fiber optic internet connection?
今まで光ファイバーのインターネットの料金を支払ったことがある人いますか？
Here's the punchline. It's really damn expensive.
非常に高いですね。
Okay. What about storing petabytes worth of data?
ペタバイト級のデータをどこかに保管したことはありますか？
Also expensive.
非常にお金がかかります。
What about if you're doing stuff for people like computation or multi-party computation stuff?
計算処理を
number generation, for example.
いや、ランダムナンバージェネレーションを代理で行ったことはありますか？
And also, got a question for you. Does Bitcoin know its own price?
ビットコインは自身の価格を知ることができるでしょうか？
No, how would it? That's external to the network. Somebody has to tell it.
実際には、自身では判断することができないので外部から情報を得る必要があります。
That's called an oracle.
こういったサービスのことをオラクルサービスと言います。
So, there are a collection of services that you could dream up as our network grows and becomes more useful that make a heck of a lot of sense to incentivize via inflation.
こういったサービスですね、非常に有用なサービスが非常に多く考えられるんですけれども、こういったものを、インフレーションによってインセンティブを与えることにも意義があります。
So smart contracts and other facilities can call them and they don't have to pay gas for them.
スマートコントラクトなどが、こういった数値、情報をコールすることができるけれども、ギャスがかからない仕組みですね。
It seems like a simple point, but if we get this right, we could end up having orders of magnitude lower operational costs for the system than comparable systems like Ethereum.
非常に単純なことなんですけれども、これが達成できれば、似たようなシステム、例えばイーサリアムよりも劇的に、ランニングコストが下がります。
Okay, so then finally you have to pay people to run consensus.
そして最後に、コンセンサスを得るための、コストを人々に支払う必要があります。
So we're going to build out all these mechanics for Shelley. This concept of a reward pool that accumulates value, this redemption transaction with this notion of a proof, but then we're going to abstract it in a way that we can come back and add in a payout to treasury and add in a payout to services and adjust the payout to consensus.
エポックの終了時にこれだけの、報奨用の資金が集まっている状態ができ、それに対して当然いろんなそのステーキングプールであったりとかに対しての支払いも行われるんですけれども、最終的に他の機能などをいくつも加えていったりとかトレジャリーを加えていった時にもそれも費用をここから捻出できるように設計されます。
And you say, well, who gets to decide that, Charles?
それを具体的に誰が決めることができるんですか？
Voting. Yay, voting.
ここで投票ですね。
Right. So our goal is to eventually make most of the system parameters votable, democratic in some respect.
最終的な目標としては、システムのかなり多くの要素をこの投票で決定できるようにしたいです。
Okay. So anyway, we're writing a series of papers out of Oxford University under that workstream lead. His name is Elias Koussoupas.
オックスフォード大のアリオス・コスーパスという人間の協力のもとこういった論文が今いくつも書かれています。
He's using the magic of mechanism design. Huzzah! Mechanism design. Yay.
メカニズムデザインというものを使ってこういったことが設計されています。
Which is reverse game theory. Huzzah! Yay, reverse game theory.
逆ゲーム理論ですかね。
And what mechanism design is all about is saying you start with something you want to do and you construct a model that makes that happen.
このメカニズムデザインというのはどういったことをやりたいのか成し遂げたいのかに合わせて、モデルを組み上げていく手法ですね。
To find out what the ideal amount ought to be for rewarding an epic.
これを使ってエポックあたりの報酬をどのくらい出すべきなのかということを決定しようとしています。
So Elias's preliminary paper should be published this month. But you know what? People lie to me about deadlines, so I'm going to put April just to be safe.
で今、AES のこの論文も実は今月、完成予定なんですけれども、ちょっと彼もたまに遅れたりすることがあるので、一応4月とお伝えしておきます。
And this is, I'm going to be really American with my reference. This is my Holiday Inn Express best guess. No one's going to get that. That's okay. This is my best guess for version 1 of Shelley for the reward pool.
シェリーのこの報奨プールに関しても、あくまでも予想であると。
Okay, so this is kind of how the model is going to work. You're going to have some game theoretic inspired reward function that will peak at a collection of stake pools. So we have kind of a target amount of stake pools we're hoping for efficiency. We have some delegation mechanic. We have a reward function. So all these things strung together should allow us to have a fully functional and fully decentralized cryptocurrency.
ゲーム理論に関連付く基づいたようなやり方で、この報酬プールの使い方、こういったものを詳しく研究していき、デレゲーションの仕組みなんかも使いながら、ステーキングプールの参加なども可能にして、こういったものを最終的にボーティングシステムによって参加している方々の意向というのを本当に聞き入れながら、民主的に進めていきたいと考えています。
We thought really super duper careful about making sure we future-proof the system. So we built in a system where we can move these squiggly lines and pay for arbitrary services, enhancements to consensus, especially when we shard, because there's a lot more to that, and a treasury system as well.
こういったものの設定もですね、最終的に例えばシャーディングとか新たな機能を加えていったとしても対応できるように、かなり長期的な目線で設計していることをお伝えしたいです。
Are we done yet? Guys, before you hand this to me, make sure to unlock the wheels.
Charles, we are running out of time.
Oh, stop it. We're not done yet. We got one more thing to talk about. Is that- We'll do a Q&A. I'll take them outside if I have to. Okay. They got to get their money's worth. They waited for me. Okay, so we have one more thing. We have Jimmy. I'm gonna call him Jimmy. I've never really liked Jimmy. That's another reference. And this time we're going to give long hippie hair. All right. He's balding up here. Okay, so Jim runs an exchange.
ジムは取引所をやっています。
And the problem with Jim is that basically Jim, by default, is going to win a lot of those slots if you don't do something to correct that.
何かここで、バランスを取るような仕組みがなければ、どうしてもジムがかなり先ほどのスロットを獲得してしまう可能性があります。
So how about we do this? Let's put in an exchange address and build it right into the protocol.
取引所のアドレスをプロトコル自体に組み込んでしまうというのはどうでしょうか。
And basically what happens is if you have funds in an exchange address, they're excluded from consensus.
で、取引所のアドレスを、コンセンサスには含めないということをプロトコルレベルで決めてしまいます。
And since we're running low on time, I won't go into all the features of exchange addresses, but it turns out that there's lots of cool stuff like proof of solvency for real-time continuous auditing and transaction chargebacks that you can do to prevent hacks with such a system that you would never normally put into a normal address, but you could build into an exchange address.
で、取引所のアドレスのことに関してはちょっと今時間が足りないのであまり詳しくは話さないんですけれども、実は普通のアドレスにはあまり含めないような特殊な機能というのをいくつも盛り込むことができます。
And cosmetically they'll look different, so you'll know that you're sending funds to an exchange address.
そしてさらに、そのアドレスの見た目も違うようにして、これは取引所のアドレスに送っているんだということが、一見したらすぐに分かるようになっています。
And this means the exchange operator no longer has to worry about the liability of being eligible for staking and figuring out how to give you your money. It means that these guys are discounted from the protocol for purposes of consensus, and they're going to get a lot of cool features, some of which probably could have prevented the coin check issue.
でここでですね、実際にもし、取引所をやっていたとして、人から預かった、そのトークンの、もし報酬を受け取ってしまったとしたら、それをどうやって再分配するのかとか、非常に多くの、課題が考えられるんですけれども、そういった責任を、ここでほとんど排除し、ここの、新たにこの特殊な取引所のアドレスで、加えられる機能によって、例えばコインチェックのような、惨劇をまた免れられるかもしれないです。
So in closing, the goal of Shelley is decentralization. We want to turn the network over to you guys. Turns out that there's a hell of a lot of stuff you have to do to make that happen right. It has to be done in a very careful and systematic way, and it has to be done in stages, like what I just mentioned before, with registration and so forth.
で、話は長くなってしまいましたが、このシェリーを、アップデートを行う上でどういうことが必要なのかというと、今まで、我々の方で多く担っていた、そのコンセンサスアルゴリズムの多くの部分を、皆さんに本当に分散化どんどんしていくということなんですけれども、この作業は、急に行うわけにもいかないですし、非常に丁寧に、行われないといけない作業だということですね。
We're going to get some stuff wrong. We always do. And that's okay, we'll fix it. But in the end, it's going to be a lot of fun to figure this out. And once we have it all running, it's going to be a really cool system.
何か壊れたりとか、間違いを犯す可能性もあるんですけれども、すぐにまたそれの修復に取り掛かるので、最終的に出来上がるシステムとしてはかなり興味深いものが出来上がると確信しています。
Now, real briefly, up next after Shelley, we have Gogan, which is when smart contracts come to our system.
そしてシェリーが完了した後で、ゴーグンというバージョン、ここでスマートコントラクトが実装されます。
And Basho and Voltaire are all about that performance work stream we're talking about, where we start upgrading the underlying accounting layer to run in parallel, and so it's going to go really fast.
そして、バショや、それ以降のバージョンで先ほどお話ししたような他のチェーンとの並行での運用というのが実装可能になって、これによって速度が劇的に上がると思います。
And features like voting and so forth will be gradually turned on when they're available, and we're just going to keep adding services. By the way, the majority of our services have actually been designed right here in Tokyo by Bernardo David and Mario Argeria at Tokyo Tech. So we're real proud of them.
そして、その投票の構造、投票の機能なども、完成次第、随時、アップデートしていく予想です、予定です。それ以外にもですね、さまざまなその細かい機能、実はですね、多くのものがここ東京で、東工大にいる、マリオや、ベルナードによって、発案、研究、されています。
Okay, I could talk forever, but you guys have some questions. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to me ramble for a bit.
まだまだお話できるんですけれども、皆さんから質問も実は受け付けているので、ここら辺で一旦終了したいと思います。長らくご清聴いただきありがとうございます。
All right, Alex, you get to be the question guy. Pick some people out for me.
No, I'm not going to.
Oh, you're not gonna? Purple, you want to pick some guys out for me? Show hands. Who's got a question? Hey, we got the guy in the front row. State your name.
Tyler.
Hey, Tyler, where are you from?
I am from Japan.
Japan? You don't look Japanese.
I know.
Right, wow. Must be like Hokkaido or something. I don't know how they make them up there. So what's your question?
So, probably you mentioned UCR. What it stands for?
Universal composability.
Okay. But, so the creator of Hashgraph, when he often refers to the fact that his algorithm is asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerant.
Right.
Is Emurgo's Prouse that?
Okay, so it's semi-synchronous. It's basically the same thing. Yeah. There's like a little debate, like how semi-synchronous you need to be asynchronous. Because to be honest with you, asynchronous would mean that you could just disconnect forever, and then somehow reconnecting at some arbitrary point in the future, everything just gets proper. But that's not how any of these systems really run in practice. Bitcoin has never not been semi-synchronous. It's always sort of a whole 9-year history. So asynchronous is fine, but there are limits to how much Byzantine tolerance you can have with asynchronous. It's called the Fisher-Patterson impossibility theorem. It came out in the 1980s, I think. And the best you can get is a third Byzantine resistance. There's some other things, like if you're a truly asynchronous system, you have terrible performance. So it's good to not be an asynchronous system, and every single thing's there. As for Byzantine resistance, it's usually connected to a variety of factors. And also you have to think carefully about what type of protocol you're using. These are eventually consistent protocols where things like Byzantine agreements settle on the block. So Algorand, that's one of the key differentiators between us and Algorand, for example. They're using a simple Byzantine agreement protocol. So was there a particular question about Hashgraph? Or?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. Next question. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Joshua.
Where are you from?
The University of Tokyo.
University of Tokyo? Yeah, we're like your competitor, man. Tokyo Tech's so much better.
I don't know.
Yeah, actually, you know, just as a brief aside, guys, there's always the preppy Ivy League school followed by the really scrappy technical school. America, we invented that. We have Harvard and MIT. University of Tokyo, Tokyo Tech, same. All right, anyway, what's your question?
How are you able to manage all these developers, team members all over the world in all these different time zones?
It's really hard. So we have a project management office. It's led by Eileen Fitzgerald, and every work stream that you see there actually has a small team. So it has a product owner, it has a project manager, a software dev manager, and usually about 3 to 5 developers. And I get weekly reports from that. So we're starting to get things like Gantt charts, and a unified release cycle, and a unified test and quality management cycle, and so forth. But to be honest, it's actually very difficult. And every software project has those difficulties, and it's one of the reasons why we've been plagued by delays. The other thing that's caused us so much pain is that Haskell is not really ready for prime time. As a programming language, well, you get all this great formal verification, formal method stuff. It really doesn't work so well for consumer applications. It was never built for that. So we had to kind of fill in the holes. So we've been building up NICs and stack the NICs and improving Haskell itself. In fact, we have 2 core developers on GHC that IOHK is funding so that we can add features into Haskell. We have gotten better, and we are trying real hard to make the process as open, as transparent as possible. So you'll see weekly updates that we do. We also do the monthly roadmap updates, so we're trying to make those more feature-rich. And the other thing is it's important that there be a check and balance on IOHK, so that we know I'm doing my job. So how do we do that? The Cardano Foundation has retained a third-party auditor, the worst possible auditor for us. It's a company called FP Complete, which is actually a competitor of one of our friends, Well-Typed. So they're auditing our code, and auditing with anger and very passionate. So it's a lot of fun. And they're going to start publishing, we were hoping on February, but certainly this month, audit reports on what they found, the good, the bad, the ugly, and those will be released by an independent organization. So it's not all positive and flowy like Charles did a great job. Don't be complaining about Seaboard and our DevOps practices and so forth. That's important for the community to see these types of things. The other thing is that there are symptoms of good project management. Like if you say it's going to ship on Tuesday and it ships on Tuesday, then that probably means you're doing your job right. If you say it's going to ship on Tuesday and 3 weeks later it hasn't shipped, you've done your job not so right. And we're seeing those symptoms, and we're gradually working our way through them. Our estimates are getting better and better, and our testing is getting better, and so forth. What was really exciting to me is that while we've been doing this, we've been filling in so many things. Like, we had an open question: is UTXO style accounting the same as Ethereum style accounts? Did they do the same things? It seems like they would be, but no one ever proved it. Proved it. Apparently, no one's ever written a formal specification for a wallet, so I wrote one. You know, and little stuff like that that we've had to fill in to actually make the model work. It slows us down, but once you do it, it's actually tremendously beneficial to the entire space. The last thing I'll mention is documentation. So it's one thing to ship this, it's another thing for people to use it. And no developer I've ever met in my entire life likes writing documentation, ever. They just don't. Unless they're that weird unicorn, and you hire that guy, and you treat him really nice, and you eat brownies every day. But other than that, like, that's the dog food, and we're trying real hard to keep the documentation current. Thank you. Next question. Yes, sir. You really want to run a stake pool, huh?
That's my question.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You look really tired. I really appreciate this.
Oh, no, I feel great. So many hours have done that.
So could you just generalize? You mentioned that it's possible to be part of that test. So if you wanted to be part of that test, just in general, what kind of like qualifications or abilities or hardware would you need to be part of that?
So what we're looking for are people who have reasonable technical competency. I'm not looking for a PhD in computer science, but somebody who can actually deploy something to a server and run it and answer technical questions and read our documentation. So some demonstration of technical proficiency, and then some factors that have nothing to do with the candidate other than just geography. It's not good to have all your stake pools in one place. You'd like to have them all around the entire world. So North America, Asia, hopefully Africa and South America and so forth. So we're looking for geographical distribution, and also we have to communicate with them. So being able to speak English well is a big plus, but it would be nice to get some diversity there and have some Japanese and Chinese speakers and some Korean speakers and so forth, because there's likely going to be those user bases, and they're going to need to communicate with their stake pool. So these are some of the factors we're looking for, but you know, the name of the game first is just to drag in, collect a lot of information, and then we get the task of being picky, and so we'll create some sort of filter. So I haven't got to the picky stage yet. I'm in the collecty stage.
Thank you.
How do you know that's a stage? Next question. Come on.
We can take one or two from online that we have.
Oh, sure. The peanut gallery. Okay, while we're waiting, what's your question?
Do you actually coach?
Do I code? Not anymore. It's been a long time. I used to code. So it was ironic because I had this serpentine path to learning how to program. So I learned Java because I took a lot of CS classes. And when I went to Metro State, that was their language, right? And I think it was Java 1.4 or 1.5 is when I came up with it.
So I learned all the object-oriented design, I learned about design patterns, I took an algorithms class and all those things, and learned all the things you're supposed to learn. Never actually did anything professionally. And then I started studying math at very high level. So I learned Sage. Now Sage is basically Python, right? With like some sprinkles on top. And then somebody said, oh, no, you need to learn Haskell. That's the way to go. So I learned about category theory, type theory, and I kind of got into the Haskell backdoor. But I was never a professional developer any time in my life. And what I've learned is that if you're going to do that, you do that. Meaning you do it without distraction, and you do that full time. So the guy who leads our technical teams, his name is Duncan Coutts, and he has a PhD in computer science from Oxford, and he's been a programmer professionally for about 15 years. He created Cloud Haskell, where he took OTP from Erlang and ported it over to Haskell. He's a rigorous computer scientist, but he's also one of the best Haskell developers in the world. We also, to pad that team, have added in Phil Wadler, who's one of the creators of Haskell. He works at IOHK. And we have a pretty solid team of engineers. The average experience is about 11 years for our guys. So they lead all those things. I feed them business requirements. So my technical project manager term is product owner. So I get to be the guy who asks for stuff that nobody actually can deliver, and then they tell me it can't be done. So it's a great position to be in. I'm much closer to the research, though. I still do enjoy that. And so I talk almost daily with our scientists, and I'm in a lot of the chief scientist meetings and so forth. And I can read some of the proofs, not all of them, though, because especially the UC stuff, it's very domain specific, and it's a different thing than I do. But it is nice to still see a lot of combinatorics and probability theory sprinkled in these things. And you're like, hey, I know what those symbols mean. I don't know what the strings of symbols mean, but I know the individual symbols. That's great. But I'd love to be able to focus on those things again, but it's unfortunately something you can't do as a CEO. There's 130 people at IOHK. We have partners all around the world, and if you're going to actually do the job, you have to be able to focus on the job. Question.
Okay, so we have one question from actually Reddit from username Finsbury Park Ranger. He says, what will the 5 first currencies you expect ADA to interlope with?
What does interlope mean?
I don't know.
They're going to take long walks on the beach.
Come together, I guess.
Are you going to get like married in some sort of really weird polygamous ritual?
Perhaps.
Okay. Well, there's the stuff we work on at IOHK. So we work on Zencash, we work on ETC, we have some unannounced projects. And it would be super cool for these guys to all get along and kumbaya. So I expect interlope would mean we can talk to each other. So a Zencash token can move to Cardano, and an ADA token can move to Zencash, and they can actually have that conversation. So that's one way to take it. And the name of the game there is more is better. So you just work really hard on getting a lot of different interoperability protocols integrated into your system, and then ideally you should be able to talk to as many people as possible. Always possible in a trustless way, but it can't be done through federated bridges, a la what Woodstock is thinking. Okay, if interlope means that you have an ERC20 token and you want to move your ERC20 token from Ethereum to Cardano, we are going to create a toolkit for migration. So you can pick your block number and copy it over and do an airdrop to our system, or move over via proof of burn. These are the 2 things you can do to migrate. So there's already a lot of people who have reached out to us and say, we're in hell, get us out of here, we really don't like being on this platform. We even talked to the CryptoKitty people. Everybody who's doing anything on Ethereum likes Ethereum, they like where they're going, they like what they're doing, but it's just frustrating from a latency and cost perspective for them right now. Now, Plasma and Casper come, maybe that'll fix the issue, but frankly, this is infrastructure for them. So our hope is to make a compelling argument, migration argument, for lots of ERC20s that come over and play on our side of the pond. So part of that is business dev stuff. Emurgo's pretty good at that, I'm not. Part of that is a tech argument, and part of that is an operational cost and customer and user experience argument. Which is why we're putting a lot of money into Deadlist to become a platform and make it really easy to deploy these types of things so that your dev experience is where it needs to be. So that's an ongoing thing. When Go ships, that conversation will start, and it's never going to stop. When is the Apple Android debate going to stop? Exactly.
All right, thank you. All right, I guess that wraps it up for questions, guys. So give Darren. Actually. Take a seat. Take a seat.
Hi, Darren.
All right.
We've been together since Shanghai.
Give these two guys a round of applause, please.
Actually, aside, I met Darren when I went to China for a presentation, and since we started working together, I've never met a harder working guy. I'm really proud of the effort he's put in and how much he's done for Cardano. So thank you, Darren, for being here, and thank you for coming from China to come talk to us for a bit. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe. It's been a ride.
Yeah.
All right.
We have this game. He loses weight, I gain weight, and then sometimes it goes the other way around. I think I'm on the gaining side.
All right, guys. We're actually gonna have everybody or anybody who wants to get in the picture that we're gonna take in the front here. So if you want to, everybody stand up and go on up front. I don't think Darren and Charles, if you remain sitting, you'll not be seen in the picture. So if you're tall, remain standing, and if you're tall, stand in the back, please. Okay. If we can move some of these front chairs, there might not be enough room.
All right. I don't want him in the picture. Running out of room like that? How do you go down to Fred, you're in the way. Fred, you're in the way. Get out of the way, Fred. Get out of the way. Let's see. Put together too long face.
All right. Silly face, please. Silly faces. Ridiculous faces. Come on, silly. Okashi kao shite kudasai. All right.
Thank you, guys.
I was in the first meeting picture, so I'm good. All right. Otsukaresama desu.
Go cheese summer days? That was a lot of fun. Thank you. Yeah, for coming.
Yeah, well, actually,